I've trained calisthenics for 10 years. I've solely focused on strength. But what's on the other side? What can we learn from endurance? This is my journey to running a 70-kilometer ultramarathon in Japan. Okie dokie, boys and girls, it is day 66 of Road to Shimanami, and today I'm feeling bloated as hell because in the past few days my body has finally realized that a lot of nutrients have been going out by running and cycling to work and training, but not enough nutrients have been going in. So suddenly I started craving a lot of food. I was very hungry, and in the past few days, I think yeah, I consumed a couple thousand calories extra. So I'm feeling it, and so I'm gonna be heavier. And does this affect your calisthenics? That's a question I often get. If you get heavier, does it affect your calisthenics? If you train legs, does it affect your calisthenics or affect your calisthenics? And the answer is yes. If you get bigger legs, planche, front lever skills will be harder. If you weigh more, pull-ups and dips or muscle-ups, they might be harder. But is it a bad thing? It entirely depends on your goals. Because guess what? If you're doing this sport for competition, right, and you want to be the best at like a certain competition style, for example, sets and reps endurance, or maybe one rep max, or perhaps the skills, whatever thing you're aiming for. If you're doing it for a competition, then probably being heavier is gonna be a disadvantage for you. But most of us, we're not really participating in competition, right? And so we're doing this training for ourselves because we want to get stronger. And for me, I used to try and stay skinny to, do the best skills possible. But as I grew older, I started to realize like, hey, I'm doing this to become strong. But if I stay skinny, I'm not as strong as I can be because guess what? By trying to stay skinny, you have to eat less. You're going to have less energy to the point that basically you're spending all of your energy on calisthenics and you don't have energy to do anything else. And now that I started eating, not only am I able to train harder, making me enjoy my training more, I also just have more time or more energy outside of training to spend. So I'm energetic outside of training as well. And so it's this infinite good cycle. You eat a lot, you are able to train a lot, and because you're able to train a lot, you grow stronger and you have more energy. And that's something that I really want to aim for. So for me, I try to not cut as much as possible, or I try to not lose weight as much as possible, because guess what? Then you're in a deficit, and well, yeah, you start to have less energy, right? But anyway, today what I'm gonna do is, well, some weighted calisthenics because I have a lot of food in my stomach, but it's gonna be some power moves. I'm still feeling tired from all the running and the leg day yesterday, so I'm just gonna do some short sets, some power move attempts, one arm planche, one arm handstand, perhaps some normal planche short sets after as well. But yeah, it's gonna be not to my maximum, I hope. So that should allow my body to recover for tomorrow and probably do some skills again. But let's go. All right. Feeling heavy. When it comes to skills in calisthenics, the skills where you hold your body horizontally will be more affected by weight gain than the one where your body is vertical. Because guess what? On the ones your body is horizontal, for example, a front lever or a planche, it's a lever, and when your lever becomes heavier towards the end of the lever, it's going to have more of an effect. When you're doing skills where your body is vertical, well, everything is stacked up together. You're just pulling it up and down, but when it's on a lever, you're trying to hold it up with all of your power. And so, yeah, pull-ups, dips, push-ups, those movements are just pushing your body up and down, not that much affected by a kilo more. But in the in the one arm planche at the moment, I am feeling it. Oh, nice. All right, I'm gonna keep it at 3 sets today because even though I feel fat as fuck, it's actually going better than expected. So I expected to just, especially in the one on planche, just fall down immediately. And it may look like I'm falling down immediately, but trust me, when I'm doing or when I'm releasing my arms, it feels like I'm doing a little mini hold. It feels like I'm in the correct position for just a slight while. And it's not much, but the fact that I can get into the position gives me confidence that perhaps tomorrow, when I try again and I'm feeling a little bit less bloated, I'm gonna be able to do a better hold. So I'm gonna do that tomorrow. In order to do so, I need some energy though, so I won't completely destroy my body today on the warm planche and handstand. Instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do 3 more sets of normal planche, and in those sets, I'm not gonna do long sets. I'm gonna do a deep push-up as explosive as possible for 3 sets, to a press probably, and if I feel up to it, I might add some weight, some more weight. I have belly weight, but perhaps I'll add some more on my feet. Ah, yeah, that's feeling heavy. Holy fuck! Why did that feel lighter than the first one? I have weight on my feet. All right, 2 kilos on my feet. It's been a while since I did this. It's been a while since I have made. Have I ever attempted a deep push-up with this weight? I don't know. This might be a freaking attempt PR already. Ah! Holy fuck! Tomorrow I can do better. All right, excited for tomorrow already because I can feel my planche being heavily affected by my heavy belly, but nonetheless, some power is present, and tomorrow I'm gonna be even more rested from the previous upper body session, from the previous leg session, from all the running to try again. So very excited on how that is gonna go. But when it comes to today's workout, of course, very satisfied. I think it's up there with how good a rest day can be, because you might think, well, you're doing one arm planche and one arm handstand, heavy planche, you're running 10 kilometers, but that's all true, but I'm not going to my maximum on those things. This morning's run was very slow because I was feeling it. These planche sets or skill sets are far from my maximum. Of course, I couldn't do 2 push-ups with 2 kilos on my feet, but it's also such a heavy movement that after that one push-up, yes, I'm not able to do another rep, but also I still have a lot of energy left. If I remove the weight, I would be able to do more planche push-ups. So in a sense, I am ending the sets when I'm still able to do a full planche relatively comfortably, and that's the most important part. But yeah, tomorrow is gonna be damn excited. And when it comes to the weight stuff, I don't really train for competitions, right? I train to be a healthy, energetic male, and when it comes to your training goals, I feel like it's like studying for a test. In fact, I studied Japanese, right? So you can study Japanese in 2 ways. You can study Japanese specifically for like a certificate and to do an exam and to pass it, or you can study Japanese in general. And what will happen if you study specifically for the test and only for the test is you will, remember how, or you will learn how to pass the test, but you will not really learn a language. And the same is true in, I think, sports. When you train for a specific sport, train for a specific event, you will learn how to get better at that event, but there's not necessarily a carryover into general life fitness. So, in fact, if you're doing calisthenics and you're preparing for a tournament, you're pretty much starving yourself, or with bodybuilding, this is true as well, right? You're starving yourself to get on stage or to get to that competition, to be lighter, to be able to do more skills, but it's actually removing energy from your life, and that's not what I want to happen, because I'm training for general life. I study Japanese in general so that I can speak it, right? I want to apply what I learn into a daily life situation. Same is for training. I want to apply the fruits of my training to daily life by having a lot of energy. And that's what I'm training for. But, of course, it's not bad, right, to want to pass a test or to want to do a competition. Those are great goals. And if they keep you motivated, by any means, keep going. But, it's just, I guess, perspective. There is loads of perspectives. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to head downstairs, have some more food. I'm not hungry, but I am gonna eat my chicken today, and well, tomorrow I can see what happens. But yeah, I'll see you then.